twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning. How are you? I'm doing fine. Glad you asked. I will be your host for the next 2 hours on BKP Politics on Voice of Rural America. Then I will continue to be your host at 10 o'clock to 11 for 1 hour, the Georgia Hour. And that would be me, BKP. How are you? I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. Welcome this morning, Diane. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. I know I sent over a lot of stuff. We will be going through some of these graphics very rapidly. Okay, so before we start, I want to be careful because I want to speak for myself because I respect your opinion and you send it to me. And if you share my opinion, that would be great. And if you don't, I'm okay with it. But if you're 32 years old today, now listen to me. I have a son that's 40 years old. I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. But if you're 32 years old today, and in 2003 was 22 years ago, when 2003, when this took place, you were 10 years old, I respect your ability to study, and I respect your ability to have a bold position, but you were not actually there. And that I cannot give you 100%. And that would be Laura Loomer. Now, on this program, I don't attack Laura. I'm not going to attack her today. But I'm going to look at things in a way that I did yesterday. Okay? Now, Laura Loomer has had the opportunity to be on Air Force One with President Trump. Laura Loomer was in the White House, okay, when Nance, the signal chat. Now, I'm going to talk about some things today that no one else, I have not heard anywhere else. But remember, she got into the White House with Susie Wiles, the chief of staff gatekeeper, don't forget the whole signal chat and military plans out of the Pentagon for attacking the Houthi rebels who are funded by Iran. Oh, there is a lot that has not been said, and we shall say it today. So I'm your host, BKP. Let me be very clear, very clear. I am not turning on my Jewish friends. I am not turning on the nation of Israel. I'm not turning on the nation of Israel. I support God's people. And that's the way I see it. And that's the fact of the matter. And that's who I am. But I don't believe a damn word that comes out of Bibi Netanyahu's mouth. And I'm not a bad person for that. All right? So I have a side that says I have this all wrong. I have to blindly just say everything that the nation of Israel has done, Bibi Netanyahu, we just have to make it okay just because. And I cannot find myself doing that. But I have not turned on the nation of Israel. Might sound a little confusing, but I shall explain in great detail. Give me number. I don't believe nothing that comes out of the man's mouth. You see, I was there when, oh man, remember this 113? Remember this? I remember it like it was yesterday, right? When he's standing up at the United Nations and he's staying at stage 1, at stage 2. This is when Iran supposedly was building a bomb. What was this? Was this 2012? When was this one? 10 years ago, anyhow. And the red line is where their intelligence said they were. This is years ago. So we'll get to that in a minute because we're going to do a full segment. Remember this 114? I got to get away from this because I could get drugged into this and I want to put it in a full segment. You remember when he showed us all the binders that they had confiscated, and remember the CD-ROM collection? Now, I don't know if that's a KTEL list of CD-ROMs. I don't know if where he got those. I mean, I don't know what data is on the CD-ROMs. You remember when he presented us all of they had broken somewhere or their intelligence and confiscated all the binders, and this was the Iranian total secret nuclear program. He presented it and the CD-ROMs with all the data. Remember that? I mean, I do. All right, take that down. So before, I want to put a couple more things out because I'm going to bring up someone. No one, I don't think anyone has brought this up. Boy, I sure hope, excuse me, I sure hope you're not playing a drinking game and every time you hear Tucker Carlson, you have to take a drink. Woo. So let me say something about Tucker Carlson. If I, your host, will tell you that when BB was making those presentations, that I was sitting somewhere, obviously not in front of the BKP microphone, not the EIB, the BKP microphone. I got to get that right. But if I sit here today and tell you that I didn't question Bibi Netanyahu when he said those binders and those CD-ROM, the disc, when those had all the details. I didn't question when he wrote the line on there and said, this is where they're at. The bomb is right there. I was like, we need to do something to stop this. I didn't question Colin Powell when he made his presentation February 5th, 2003 to the UN saying, we had to do this. Saddam Hussein had these weapons of mass destruction. I was patriotic, very patriotic, and I am still today patriotic. I'm just patriotic with eyes wide open. There's a difference, okay? There's a difference in following blindly or being led to believe by your government that this is patriotic, all right? And true patriotism. So I flew the red, white, and blue. I said kill Saddam when 9/11, right? When I say it wasn't until recently, I don't mean like yesterday or the day before, but it wasn't until recently that my research led me to believe and understand that I, and not Laura Loomer, and I appreciate Laura and her work, but she's 32 years old, but you have to be 60 plus. Now, my point is you need to be 60 years old plus to get a firm understanding that Dr. Ron Paul said that we lost a republic February 22nd, was it 1963? That's off the top of my head. That's what he said. And you've got to realize 60 plus, not 32 years old, 60 plus, you're the first right out of the box of the post-Republic America. Firstborn. Wow. So that being said, if I can sit here today and say back then I carried the red, white, and blue, and I still do today, but under the guise of my government was telling me the truth, so can Tucker Carlson. And someone, and this is not going to be taking a side. This is not taking a side. But, I have watched probably 30 or more of Tucker's interviews. I have to tell you, I did not know the Darien Gap. I brought this up the other day. Tucker brought me a lot of information that I was not aware of. Did you hear that sentence? Tucker brought me a lot of information I was not aware of that I know today was just factual information I was not aware of. Because he brought it to me from people that were not represented by media marketing companies and agents to be on the network roundtables. If you want to find the truth in America, it's not around the network roundtables. When you see what I call the network roundtables, Fox News, Fixed News, all right, the Rupert Murdoch gang, these people around the network tables, they have agents. They pay their agents so much money to get them in these positions. You search for the truth in places outside of the network roundtables. They don't possess the truth. I said it yesterday. I've absolutely had it with alcoholic senators coming out and telling me I should bomb another country or we should send our money to Zelensky in Ukraine. I'm tired of it. Now, that being said, so Tucker has brought me a lot of information. And I have watched those. If you have not watched many of the interviews, he, in multiple interviews, has said, I did not know this. I used to believe something else. I used to carry the water when I was on this network. We were told this, and I went with it. He has said it quite often. So, hey, if I could sit here today and say, throughout 1963 to today, post-Republic America, and if I could tell you I'm at the lead, not leader, I'm at the lead of the age that says, I want to return the republic for which it stands to my children and grandchildren. They deserve that from me. But I support Israel and don't believe a damn word Netanyahu says. That doesn't make me the bad guy. That doesn't make me anti-Christian. That does not make me lead me to believe that I'm not a lover and a child of Jesus Christ, my personal Savior. That does not change any of that. That does not change that I think the eastern sky could split at any minute and Christ could come and restore his reign and his kingdom and take us home. Doesn't change the fact. I don't believe a damn word Bibi Netanyahu says. Now, I'm going to answer this question because I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. First, let me say this. I got to go to break, but I said first 8 times, right? One more thing. Well, just one more thing, right? If I don't like to look at you and say you're doing something wrong, I don't like to do that. But if you happen to be doing this, all right, if you happen to be doing it, if you are looking at this in any lane, in the 2 lanes of Democrat or Republican, you are wrong. Got it? If you are looking at this because you're an R and you vote R and you believe R and you think you're a pirate R, okay? And if you're over here and you're a Democrat and you think D and you think D and you get the D and you get the you are wrong. Everything that's happening right now has nothing to do with your view of a political party. Political parties are only ballot access and manipulation centers. Means they lie to you. Got it? So that being said, give me number 84. I think we should go into this very bright note here, 84, which I absolutely. How about that? How about those apples? Illegal border crossings. May of this time last year, 62,000. May of this year, 0. May of last year, right? 62,000. May of this year, 0. Now, that is an enormous accomplishment. So I have you will see today on the front of the BKP desk, a salute to the Border Patrol. My hat will be up there all day, okay? But here's what I want to talk about. Look at the number, 6. That's just that month, May, right? Now, here is my concern. I keep hearing nuclear weapons. I keep hearing Iran. They keep giving me charts and graphs. All right. Give me 81. This is a concern I have, okay? Thousands of special interest aliens from Middle East countries stopped at the southern border. There has been over 1.5 million gotaways under Biden's administration. Now, this is just a headline. Let's not get stuck on the numbers because somebody's going to tell me if I bring up how many illegals cross the border, I have gotten from 50 million to 10 million gotaways. But here's what I do know is some Americans out there are led to believe that the people that crossed 30 million just happy. We're not going 50. We're not going 10. We'll do 30 million. Whatever. Crossed over. Excuse me. Then we have the gotaways, millions of gotaways. What entered this country in the past 4 years? What entered this country in the past 4 years? Middle Eastern men? Now, I'm not just saying, well, all Middle Eastern men are just bad people. Middle Eastern men, right? And during that time, what did they get across in this country? What did China get through Mexico? My concern this morning in the motherland here is America first. And my concern is, give me 82. And people are going to say, wow, you're just really stepping out there. No, I don't think I am. Okay? Late Monday night, the U.S. nuclear sniffer plane. You see, we have a sniffer plane. We've got a plane that'll go up and sniff out nuclear fallout. All right? Nuclear fallout. Now, that was Monday night. Today's Wednesday. So yesterday morning, so this was Monday night, right? Omaha, Nebraska, nuclear fallout. When did Trump leave Canada? Now, today is Wednesday morning. Trump arrived at Andrews Air Force Base yesterday morning at about 5:05 a.m. Now, I want you to look some things up. I want you to think about this. I want you to get back to me. And I want you to just tell me if I'm so far out there, you can't watch the show anymore. Trump arrived at Andrews Air Force Base at about 5:05 yesterday morning, Tuesday morning, right? Now, Monday, he abruptly cuts the G7 short. And he's in Canada. He says, I'm going home. Right? He said, I've got to assemble the crisis room, whatever that's called again. I forget what it's called, all right? I got to assemble it now. Everybody get in the room now, the situation room, whatever it is. And that's what happened Monday afternoon in Canada. Now, you could fly from Atlanta to San Francisco, 4.5 hours, 5 hours tops? 5? Can you get there at 5, right? So Air Force One, sometime Monday night, and I don't think it's 10, 11, 12, 1, sometime Monday night, I don't know what time the takeoff, Air Force One did not arrive until Tuesday morning at 5:05. Where was Air Force One all that time? Because it's not a 12-hour flight, all right? It's not a 10-hour flight. It's not an 8-hour flight. It's about 5 hours, 5.5, maybe tops. I'll give it extra 30 minutes. So for 3 hours, or where was Air Force One? And second, this sniffer plane went up Monday night. Not reported on any of the networks, not reported on any of the podcasts, but it is a true fact. This plane went up Monday night. We don't know how long it was in the air. All right. It goes up from Omaha, Nebraska. I don't know if that's the flight path of Air Force One, but it goes up. No one's talking about it. Maybe I'm making more out of it. But the reason I'm interested in this is because none of the networks are running it. I didn't even hear it on Fixed News, and I turned on Fixed News yesterday afternoon just to get another propaganda perspective of what's happening over in the Middle East. I didn't hear it there. Maybe they've talked about it. I didn't hear it on MSNBC. I didn't hear it on CNN. The only thing CNN is telling me is how many bombs Iran has left, as though they know and they have a count. But I'm just saying, my concern today in America, go back to 84. Who's in this country? Now, look, I'm for sure, I support Donald J. Trump, my president of the United States. And, you know, we have Kash Patel, we've got Dan Bongino, we've got Nome, Homeland Security, all right? We got Tom Holman. We got some good people on the ground. We do. But instead of telling me about raiding farms, and I get it, and raiding a restaurant, and raiding a meat packing or a chicken house, I get it. I'm with you. Could we please find out who the hell is in this country? And please clear that no one has put a dirty bomb together for one of our cities, a nuclear weapon together for one of our cities, and that we're going to get attacked from within. Could that reach that level of priority? That's all I'm saying. Because I think Monday night and Trump landing Tuesday morning at 5:05 a.m., I think it's interesting. I'll leave it there. I think it's interesting. So we have, give me number 5. We have, as far as I'm concerned, we've got the old spy versus spy. We have this side over here. We've got this side over here. We got the great MAGA divide. We've got Trump calling Tucker Carlson kooky. We've got Laura Loomer has been dispatched from Trump. That's my true feeling, to help attack Tucker Carlson and shut him down. So someone asked me yesterday, and I can deal with this. I agree. Someone said to me yesterday, you told us you have always been convinced that Tucker Carlson is one of Trump's top advisors. And I don't change that today, but I will say was. I will say was. There's some things happening, folks. There's some things happening. And I'm not telling you Trump is going to let you down, but there's some things happening. There's some people getting boxed out. So what you want me to believe, you know what I say. If you're new to the show, anytime you hear what you want me to believe, the networks, everyone wants you to believe something. So what you want me to believe is the richest man in the world. Where the hell's Elon? Right? Where's Elon? Huh? You want me to believe this is all coincidence? The richest man in the world, Elon Musk, on one day said that Donald Trump was on Epstein's list. Now, I'm not saying he was because I don't want to attack. But the richest man in the world comes out, flies out. Donald Trump, you're on Epstein's list, DJT, right? What do you think about that? The next day, the richest man in the world is apologizing. I'm sorry, right? It's almost like they got him in a room. Somebody got him in a room. You're going to say you're sorry. I'm just saying. One day, Tulsi Gabbard is putting out videos. A video. We have the video from March 25th, right? Iran's not developing a nuke. We have no data saying that. And then she put out a video right in advance of Israel's strike, and she's in big trouble, right? She is in big trouble. And then yesterday, she comes out and says, I'm in line with the president. So Tulsi Gabbard comes out yesterday and says, everything's good. I'm in line with the White House. I'm in line with our strategy. Damn. Just 24 hours. All right, folks, 10 a.m. will be the Georgia hour. When we return, well, we'll just be back when we return. Take us out of here, Diane.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we're proud because for more than 65 years, we've built a legacy of trust for the families we serve. That's why 80% of our business comes from repeat customers and referrals. When you treat folks as well as we do, word is bound to get around. Days Chevrolet in Jasper, family first since 1959. Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. I will answer your text message. I cannot validate the border crossing numbers. I cannot, okay? So we're using that as an example of who's in this country, and the data shows 0 in May. So I cannot validate those numbers. Now, let me just say something. I brought this up yesterday, and at first I want to show anyone out there, and we're going to bring it all the way together, but I want to show, first of all, anyone out there why I cannot sit here and tell you I support Bibi Netanyahu and our government. All right. And I'm concerned someone has our president captive. I really am. I'm concerned. I support Donald J. Trump. Now, everybody's getting fired up from so many angles. This will be the only program that takes my direction. And my great president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, who I support, this morning, I'm concerned he's been held captive, and I will share. So, not to bore you, but first of all, I just want to bring this up and ask you if you're aware of this. Give me number 53. Are you aware of this? Because it's not on the networks, and I'm not seeing a lot of talk about it. Chinese cargo planes have reportedly landed in Iran secretly, despite Iran's airspace being totally closed due to ongoing hostilities with Israel. The aircraft allegedly turned off their transponders before entering Iranian airspace, rendering them invisible to radar and commercial tracking systems. Now, folks, you got to think of it like this. So remember, Trump put out yesterday the Truth Social post that said what? We have now complete control of the Iranian airspace. And some of us out here might be saying, okay, what's the importance of that? I mean, what exactly are you telling us? Or did he send China a message? Was that a message to China? We have control of the airspace. Don't try it. Because again, Chinese cargo planes, okay, had landed in Iran secretly. So give me, and this is why you have to just take caution. Don't listen to the noise, Ted Cruz and Tucker and MTG, and I do like Alex Jones because he will go way out there. But Alex and and Joe Scarborough and Laura Loom, no. Stay focused and do not take a political lane. That is not one you can trust. This is not Republican or Democrat. You cannot trust that lane at all. All right. Give me number 54. China sends mystery transport planes into Iran. This is from the Telegraph. All right. Now, a day after Israel attacked Iran on Friday, a cargo plane took off from China. The next day, a second plane departed from a coastal city. Then Monday, today is Wednesday, yet another departed, this time from Shanghai. 3 flights in 3 days. 3 cargo planes in 3 days came into Iran. All right. Now, we like booms and we like flashes and we like fireworks on the 4th of July. So we have been mesmerized with the 30-second videos of an explosion in Tehran and an explosion in Iran, back in Tehran, the TV station in Iran. Those things have overtaken all the airwaves and all the information out there. Not 3 flights from China, not 3 cargo planes from China coming in to Iran. Data showed that on each flight, the plane flew westward along northern China, crossing into, I don't know all my stands, Kazakhstan, one of them stands, then south to Uzbekistan. I got Uzbekistan. And Turkmenistan, whatever. And then falling off the radar near Iran. So it went past all the stands, Stan, and Stan. Boom, radar dead, dark, into Iran. 3 cargo planes. Yesterday, Trump says, hey, we have the airspace under total control now. Was that to China? Who was that for? So don't forget that. Got it? Do not forget that. Now we're going to get into a name that nobody's talking about. Because when I get done, you're going to say, I'm going to leave you thinking. So let's go with, so here, I told you this morning, when I see 111, right, and I see CNN tell me that here are the areas, right, and I'm getting information that says here are the areas. 111, yes, okay. I know you got to go in a different box, Diane. All right, and I'm hearing they're showing me that where the Israeli strikes in Iran and Iranian nuclear facilities, they have them all pinpointed, and they're telling me how deep they are, and we need a bunker buster, and America's got to get involved, and we got to drop this bunker buster, and they're giving me the details. Now, then 106, then they tell me, right, that Iran has 2,000 medium-range missiles, 120 fired at Israel in April 2024, 200 fired in October 2024, 380 fired to Israel here in June. There's somewhere around 1,300 missiles left. No, not at all. I accept none of this. Because you see, I said this yesterday, and I'll make it very brief because we got a lot more. Number 112. Remember this? You remember when the guy gave us a complete, right? Original Iranian illustration. You remember when he showed the complete, he gave us charts and graphs. I showed you this earlier. Remember number 113? I remember like it was yesterday, the UN, right? And he told us the stage of the bomb, and he took the marker. I'll never forget, and he said, it's right here. I was like, what? It's here? Yes, right here. Final stage. We even got a fuse. They lit the fuse. Wow. We must do something. Right? We must support Bibi Netanyahu. I was there, right? You remember when Bibi Netanyahu told us that if Iraq falls, remember that? If Iraq falls, it'll be a domino effect. We will be able to take out Iran at the same time as we do Iraq. This guy here. So then give me 114. I showed you this earlier, but I want it in this segment, right? Here he is, 114. Bibi Netanyahu reveals the Iranian secret nuclear program prime minister's office. So, you remember when he told us that all those binders, now that was impressive. And those CDs were completely taken and had all of the data of the Iranian nuclear program on those CDs, their weapons program. You remember that? Give me video 10.
The deadline for attaining this goal is getting extremely close. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb. The foremost sponsor of global terrorism could be weeks away from having enough enriched uranium for an entire arsenal of nuclear weapons. That would place a militant Islamic terror regime weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
So, is he the little Netanyahu who cried wolf? I mean, you have to understand, at my age, I keep saying that at my age, I know I look good for my age, but for my age, I was there every time. Every time he told me that, I was there. I watched. I've always paid attention. And then, guess what? The leader of the world, terrorist leader of the world, he grabbed some cash. Give me number 11. Right? So this guy, I'm glued to the TV every time he said that. 2002. Now remember, 2002 is before and I'll show you in a minute, before we go into Iraq, Benjamin Netanyahu is telling us, look, I'm a fiscal conservative. I support Israel. I support the Jewish people. I believe that Jesus is coming again to sit on the throne. I got it, man. I got it, and nothing will change that in my heart and mind. And this is not a but, I see it a different way. But in the reality of what's going on, I watch what these people do, and they tell me that this is Iran is a leading state terrorist, sponsor of terrorists. Okay, fine. Tell me that. Show me that. Good, I'm with you. This guy drops $1.7 billion of cash, right? Nobody in our country goes to jail. Nobody in our country gets investigated. Nobody in our country sees a jail cell unless it's in the 2016 Donald Trump administration. Those people, Paul Manafort and others, may go to jail, right? Or if it's January 6th and they steal an election, and you happen to be in D.C., and you were sightseeing that day, you could go to jail. But who funds all of this stuff? Now, this one, right? Remember this? So give me video. This is 2003. This is 2003. Video 9, Colin Powell. Now watch this video very close. There is some information you're going to want to read. Video 9. Watch this one.
Every statement I make today is backed up by sources, solid sources. These are not assertions. What we're giving you are facts and conclusions based on solid intelligence. What you will see is an accumulation of facts and disturbing patterns of behavior. The facts in Iraq's behavior demonstrate that Saddam Hussein and his regime have made no effort to disarm as required by the international community. Indeed, the facts in Iraq's behavior show that Saddam Hussein and his regime are concealing their efforts to produce more weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein has chemical weapons. Saddam Hussein has used such weapons. And Saddam Hussein has no compunction about using them again against his neighbors and against his own people. And we have sources who tell us that he recently has authorized his field commanders to use them. He wouldn't be passing out the orders if he didn't have the weapons or the intent to use them. This body places itself in danger of irrelevance if it allows Iraq to continue to defy its will without responding effectively and immediately. The issue before us is not how much time we are willing to give the inspectors to be frustrated by Iraqi obstruction, but how much longer are we willing to put up with Iraq's noncompliance before we, as a council, we, as the United Nations, say, enough, enough. We must not shrink from whatever is ahead of us. We must not fail in our duty and our responsibility to the citizens of the countries that are represented by this body.
You know, you could replace Iraq with Iran, and they've made no effort to disarm. No effort to disarm. And how many times did he say solid facts? Solid facts, solid facts. All right? Now, in Iraq did not attack us. All right? Iraq did not attack us. Now, we had information that said that Saddam Hussein, after the first Gulf War, that's a different one in itself, but Saddam Hussein had planned to assassinate George H. Bush, right? Sound familiar? Right? Netanyahu says 2 times Iran planned to assassinate Trump, and they thwarted, or whatever you call it, that attack, that assassination attempt. So remember, our intelligence, right, led by the CIA, our intelligence said that Iraq was going to assassinate George H. Bush. Remember? Sound familiar? And Iraq did not attack us. Now, I don't want to go backwards, but keep in mind, we're trying to negotiate a bill in Congress to cut spending, where trillions is added on to our debt, enormous balloon, to go to war with Iraq and go to war with Afghanistan to find Saddam bin Laden, who was over in Iran. You can't make any of this up. So you got it. You can't come after us. And I don't know if there's any us on my side, but you can't come after us and say we oppose Israel. You can't do that. You can't come after me and say I've turned on Israel, because I haven't. But I lived through all of this. I don't trust anything Bibi Netanyahu tells me. All right? Because in 2002, he said to your drunken senators, as I call them, alcoholic senators that come out for a brief moment from time to time for the camera, but he said to our Congress, 2002, you take down Iraq, it all falls. Don't forget Syria fell. That's in the dominoes that Israel needed. So here you go, CNN. Keep this in mind. Video 1. This guy tells you, hey, this is a view. CNN, this guy says, hey, Iran didn't attack Israel. Keep that in mind. All right, video 1.
We have many reports are upset because the government did not build a nuclear weapon. In fact, many Iranians say we have the natural right to build a nuclear weapons, even though the CNN yesterday, as you know, the CNN reported that the assessment by U.S. intelligence found that Iran was not actively trying to build a nuclear weapon, and Iran was years away from having the ability to do so. So please, let's not just listen to Netanyahu and think somehow tomorrow, the day after, and a new regime will come. Think about it, Becky. You and I, we talked about it. Think about Iraq. Is this really an Iraq moment? When the neoconservatives, including Benjamin Netanyahu, said, once Saddam Hussein falls, Iraq will be a domino effect. Iraq will be a democracy. Iran would collapse, and Syria, and so on. Think of what happened in Iraq. Iran is a much bigger and a greater country, and the damage where you are in the Gulf. If the United States join the war, and we shall see, and I hope I am wrong, this will have catastrophic consequences on the political economy and energy. Iran is planning to mine the Strait of Hormuz, so it's not just a simple question like regime change and who's going to replace the clerics in Tehran. It's up to the Iranians themselves to really basically take on the clerics in Tehran.
Okay, so remember this. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat candidate for president in the 2020 election during the primary with Joe Biden and with Kamala Harris. Soon, very soon, Tulsi Gabbard left the Democrat Party, became an independent, and then on stage with Donald Trump during a campaign rally pledged that she is now a Republican. So those are a little bit of the timeline with Tulsi Gabbard. But Give me number 4. You realize she, in the administrations, when I say the only one, you'll probably come up with other names, but in all these administrations going back to 2002, George Bush, Obama, right, Clinton, it doesn't matter who it is. Biden, if you want to call that an administration. There's only been one person that has solidly outspoken that does not agree with Netanyahu on a timeline and does not agree that we need to attack Iran. You see, in 2016, Trump was well on his way of starving Iran's supreme leader and overthrowing the country, letting the people overthrow the country. That's another story in itself. Gabbard, Iran is not currently developing a nuclear weapon. Now, we know she said this March 25th, 2025. Then, what did she do? She came out. She was not, right? On June 8th, the Sunday, is that June 8th? That Sunday, she was not invited. She was not invited to the Camp David. She's not invited to Camp David. Ratcliffe is CIA. There's a list at Camp David. That Monday morning after that Sunday, Trump has a phone call with Benjamin Netanyahu. She's not involved. And then what does she do? She releases a video. I don't know how many of you watched it. You see, she's not on board. Director of National Intelligence, not invited. She releases a video. She's in trouble because she's not buying in. She's not buying in. Give me number 32. Inside the clashes between Trump and Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence has rankled, is that what it says? Rankled Trump with her statements about nuclear war, and the president has shrugged off her message. Now, they have come out since this, give me 33, and as of yesterday, all right, number 33, as President Trump privately mulled joining Israel's campaign against Iran this month, one member of the cabinet sent what he viewed as an audacious attempt to steer him in the opposite direction. At 5:30 a.m. on June 10th, National Director. Now, on June 8th, it was the Sunday, right? She doesn't get invited. Why didn't she get invited to Camp David? Now, remember why you out there supported like 100% Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. I remember this like it was yesterday, right? At 5:30 a.m. on June 10th, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard tweeted a cryptic 3-minute video warning the political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers, and that the world is on the brink of nuclear annihilation. Now, that did not go well, all right? Yesterday, it was said, I got to leave it there right now, okay? But yesterday, it was said Tulsi Gabbard is back in line. Now, give me number 38. Apparently, right? Director Tulsi Gabbard and Director John Ratcliffe testified to closed-door Senate Appropriations Committee. So, yesterday, Tulsi was brought back in line. The only one in any administration that I actually can remember said that, hey, it's not time. We should not be doing this. It's Tulsi Gabbard. Now, as I continue to say quite often, and I want to make sure I'm not missing anything, this is all left up to you. It's all left up to you to think about. Give me number 59. This is yesterday at noon, June 17, 2025. Just in, DNI, Tulsi Gabbard confirms she and President Trump are on the same page when it comes to Iran's nuclear timeline. Boy, there you go. So let's go with video 3.
His own director of national intelligence, Politico, is reporting on the tensions between the two, stemming in part from Gabbard's recent social media post warning about nuclear annihilation. According to Politico, quote, Trump saw the unauthorized video and became incensed, complaining to associates at the White House that she had spoken out of turn. Trump reportedly saw it as an audacious attempt to steer him toward her anti-interventionist approach to foreign policy.
It was a bizarre thing to do, obviously a bizarre thing to do, especially if you hadn't spoken with the president who appointed you and the president whose administration you work for. I mean, look at it, just seriously, John Heilman. I will say, as bizarre as that video was, it really does underline the divide, the great divide down the middle of Donald Trump's MAGA base. 2003, the closest parallel, obviously, the invasion of Iraq. You had Republicans marching lockstep, not only in Congress, but also outside of Congress behind George W. Bush's decision to go into Iraq. Not so here.
The great MAGA divide, Tulsi Gabbard, all right? How bizarre this is. President Trump was saying the same thing that I said in my annual threat assessment back in March. Unfortunately, too many people in the media don't care to actually read what I said. Tulsi said to CNN, well, they're on the same page. She confirmed yesterday, I'm on the same page as the president of the United States. Now, on March 25th, I said, nowhere near close. Can't even get a feel that they're building a nuclear weapon. June 8th on a Sunday, all the boys went to Camp David and left me behind. I didn't get to go to camp. I got left behind. I'm the director of national intelligence. On June 10th, was it June 10th? Just a couple days later, I released a video. I got in trouble. Now, they always invite, we'll talk about this, video 7. They always invite the former CIA, video 7.
Sort of that. All right. Former Chief of Staff at the CIA and Department of Defense, Jeremy Bash. Thank you so much. David Ignatius.
Former Chief of Staff, CIA. All right, folks. Everybody's getting in line. So when we return, Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz, wow, the MAGA divide. Oh, we'll throw a little MTG in there. Take a break.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we're proud because for more than 65 years, we've built a legacy of trust for the families we serve. That's why 80% of our business comes from repeat customers and referrals. When you treat folks as well as we do, word is bound to get around. Days Chevrolet in Jasper, family first since 1959. Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting edge digital technology and state of the art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second to none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. Good morning, Diane. I hope you're doing well. I am now in this segment going to tell you why I will not turn and have not turned and don't anticipate turning on Tucker Carlson. And I'll explain, okay? I said earlier in the beginning of the show, I support Donald J. Trump this morning. And I have my hat, my pin, my watch, and I support my president of the United States. But I do feel he's under what all the presidents have been under since the fall of the Republic. November 22nd, was it November? When was it? Anyhow, 1963, when Kennedy was killed. And that's my concern this morning, that Donald J. Trump is being held captive. All right. So Donald J. Trump tweeted out, "We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defense equipment, and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better. Good old USA. We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran." Give me number 53. So I just want to bring this up just to lay this out. Chinese cargo planes have reportedly landed in secrecy 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row, Chinese cargo planes have landed in Iran. So take that down. All right, now, that being said, all right, we've talked about Tulsi Gabbard. Now we're going to go into Tucker Carlson. So this is not, do not view any of this from the Republic. If you're getting Democrat talking points, Republican talking points, you view any of this in the talking point lane of the political parties, you're wrong. It's the only way I can put it. That's not what this is about. Now, video 4. The Tucker Carlson Great Divide in America, video 4.
So, Tulsi Gabbard may be on thin ice there because Trump does not like to have him to feel like this has been boxed in by people who work for him. Mm-hmm. You are right, though. You know, what she is representing there is a point of view. It is the point of view of Tucker Carlson, the point of Marjorie Taylor Greene, the point of view of Steve Bannon, the point of view of Charlie Kirk, a lot of very powerful people in forever wars. It does feel as though the U.S. has often made giant, costly mistakes getting involved in these kinds of conflicts.
Okay, so Tucker Carlson gets fired from Fox News, all right? And he doesn't attack Rupert Murdoch and the family, but he's been very clear he doesn't agree with them. But he gets fired from Fox News, and he takes a minute, and then he starts his own network. I think it's the TCN, Tucker Carlson Network. He starts his own network. He uses the platform X to get his information out, and Elon Musk gives him that platform. That platform was very instrumental during the campaign to Donald Trump and Donald Trump getting elected. But remember yesterday, so give me number 73. All right, MTG. This is exactly what I told you yesterday. So we'll start with MTG. And as we call it lanes, right? I told you yesterday, she is going to get in the lane she sees the most cash. Now, there's some things developing. We don't know if she's running for governor of Georgia. All right. We'll talk about this again during the Georgia hour. But I've told you over and over, this lady will get in the lane that she sees the most cash going down the aisle. All right. Marjorie Taylor Greene warns Donald Trump to stay out of the Israel conflict. Battle decision, number 74. President Trump's decision on whether to strike Iran and support Israel could be one of the most consequential choices of his presidency, but the political fallout back home threatens to split MAGA movement and U.S. Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of Trump's staunchest supporters, insisted that if the U.S. were to carry out or facilitate new attacks on Iran, it would cause a split. America first, right? And she defends, yesterday she goes and she defends, right? Give me 75. Let's see. She defends, I thought it was in here, but she defends Tucker Carlson, okay? Now, this is what happened yesterday, just so you can see, because I told you that Marjorie Taylor Greene has some opponents, some primary opponents. And what did I tell you? Marjorie will get in the lane that she needs to get in. Number 50, right? This was yesterday. Today's June 18th. Yesterday at almost 2:30 in the afternoon, the rhinos, neocons, and never-Trumpers are funding a primary challenger against me. Why? Because I refuse to take their dirty money, and I won't send your kids to die in another foreign war. This is the biggest political fight of my life. I need help. This one is. Marjorie's got about 9 biggest political fights in her career, and this one's it. I need your help. Please send money. I told you yesterday, okay? So anytime you see MTG come try to get into the area, discount it. Now, so a lot of people are talking about the riff in MAGA world with Ted Cruz, right? So, video 2.
The idea that when it comes to an interventionist foreign policy, it is a rift in MAGA world, because even there are clips circulating online of an early view of an interview that Tucker Carlson did with Senator Ted Cruz, where they are sparring over whether or not to get involved in Iran. These two men that are typically on the same side of everything now really going at each other. You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene defending Tucker Carlson as the president calls him kooky. I mean, these are some really strange layers here. How are you seeing it play out on the Hill?
Strange bedfellows.
Strange times.
I think that one casualty we've seen is this push to enact Russia sanctions, you know.
These are not strange layers, folks. There's nothing strange about this. This is just flat out some deep state shit. Okay? Nothing strange about this at all. This is deep state stuff, is what I meant to say. Right? Now, let's go with the Ted Cruz video 5.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah.
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, this is cute.
It's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the one who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here, because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
That full interview is coming out today, okay? Now, I'm not anti-Ted Cruz, because let's not go down that road. I don't have time for that. But he is, and I'm not calling him a drunken senator. I'm not doing that. But he is a senator. He's a senator. We'll leave it there. So, why now? This is Bannon. Tucker goes to Bannon yesterday. We're not playing all of this, but give me video 6.
We should be clear about who's serving its interests. Tom Cotton, who's the chairman of the Senate Intel Committee, the Select Committee on Intelligence, was one of the primary drivers of secrecy around the Kennedy files. So Tom Cotton, I think, was born in the 80s, and I like Tom Cotton a lot. I know him. I know his wife, who worked at CIA. Nice, super nice people. But when it came down to it, when Trump gets elected and gets inaugurated in January, Tom Cotton's he's denied this, but he's lying because it's true. I know for a fact. Tom Cotton's running around being like, well, whatever we do, we can't put people in place. We're going to declassify all the Kennedy assassination files. 62 years later. I think Tom Cotton was born in the 80s. Why would he care?
It's not a sources and methods thing anymore.
Yeah, what is that? Why would Tom Cotton be so concerned about releasing the Kennedy documents that he's trying to prevent people from getting jobs on the basis of his belief that they might reveal those documents? Like, what is that?
Because it's
disqualifying. He shouldn't be in the Senate, of course.
Because he knows that is the key that can pick the lock. That something happened in 1963. We had a coup d'etat.
Yep. Yes.
The country's never faced up to it.
No.
The country understands at like 80% something's dead wrong. They understood at the time the Warren Commission was gun-decked.
Yeah.
You go back and read this new book even by a New York Times writer. You see what a joke it was, how the FBI stepped in immediately. Jerry Ford was their guy. It was
right? Bottom line. That's what I told you yesterday. I was right there at the time when we lost the Republic. Why can't we know JFK files? Tom Cotton, right? Why not? Wife used to work for CIA. If I keep hearing Tucker's dad worked CIA, this one works CIA, I get it. All right. That's the thing. They always run out. But Tucker Carlson's done things. I am shocked this morning that Tucker Carlson is alive. And I say that, I pray, I sincerely pray, but I am shocked this morning he's alive. Because let me give you something. This is where we're going to go in a little rapid. All right. Number 80. Tucker Carlson had the nerve to go on Joe Rogan's podcast and say that CIA Director Mike Pompeo plotted to kill Julian Assange. He said it out loud. Tucker's done a lot of things you're not allowed to do. You can go after him all you want, but you're not allowed to do things that Tucker's done. Right up to Tulsi Gabbard, right up to Iran, right up to Israel, right up to Benjamin Netanyahu. All right? Mike Pompeo allegedly plotted to kill Julian Assange. And Mike Pompeo threatened him, and Mike Pompeo pressured Donald Trump not to release the JFK files. Now, would you have known? Now, if you would have known these people before this time, fine. Let's go to 72. How many of you watched this right here? Right? How many of you watched Kurt Weldon? They talked a little too much about 9/11, didn't they? Right? And then, did the CIA lie about Osama bin Laden's location? A little too much. The 9/11 Commission was a scam. The mysterious collapse of Building 7. How many of you watched that one? How about this one here? Whoa, I don't want 71 yet. You got it? 71, you hold 71. How many of you watched this one? Number 70. Right? Now, Tucker brings people on here and just lets them talk. Lets them say what they want. He doesn't close it off. There's no parameters, right? Former Bush administration official, Fitz. America's leaders gave up on the country in the 90s, began stealing trillions, and built a digital prison in control of the population. What the hell? Who the hell let her come on here? The missing $21 trillion. I don't know. She might be a crackpot. But tell you what, I met her on Tucker Carlson's show, and she said too much. How about this? Don't go against Big Pharma. Don't step out against Big Pharma, number 69. Remember when most Americans met Casey Means and her brother Callie? You remember when most of us met Callie and Casey Means? Where was it? Tucker Carlson's show, right? Ozempic, the rise of dementia, infertility, Michelle Obama's weaponization of sugar in schools. Did you meet them on Tucker's show? How about here recently? May 19th, number 68, Sean Ryan. I've heard many of them say he's CIA, right? They actually went against, they didn't knock them, they didn't attack them, but Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Epstein killed himself, right? Wow. Let's see. Talked about CIA. How about this one? Did you know this guy? How much did you know about NGOs? How much did you know about NGOs running the world? Number 67. How many of you met Mike Benz on Tucker's show? I did. That's where I met this guy. Tucker's show, right? Now, Kurt Weldon, I knew he was a former congressman from Pennsylvania. I did not know the backstory. How many of you met Mike Benz here, right? Mike Benz on how NGOs run the world on behalf of the small number of very dangerous people. Boom. The Soros connection to the State Department is deeper than you think. How the CIA controls the education system. I don't know. How many of you learned or met Mike Benz here? How about this one? Number 66. How about Congressman or Senator Ron Johnson? Right? The debt crisis. COVID drastically changed our economy. The truth about the big, beautiful bill. I had the one here. Let's see. How bad are the vaccine injuries? Remember that one? And why is Johnson investigating 9/11? The most troubling unanswered questions about 9/11. How about this one here? Right? I mean, I don't know. I watched this interview. Number 65. CNN spends 5 years lying about Joe Biden's dementia. How many of you watched Glenn Greenwald, right? Greenwald, Joe's dementia, and Jeffrey Epstein working for foreign intelligence. The JFK assassination. Right? How many of you met this guy and now watch some of his stuff? How about this guy here? Did you guys know John, I can't pronounce his last name, but we're going to go with it, 64. Did you guys meet this guy, right? He embarrassed the CIA. John Brennan tried to have him executed for it. Yes, executed. Why John Brennan hated the guy, the CIA torture techniques. Did you meet this guy on Tucker's show? And what about this lady here? Let's go another direction. 63. Doctors told this teenage Laura DeLuno, right? Is that her name? She had something they called bipolar disorder. They talk about Big Pharma's treatment scams, right? How about this one here, 62? Telegram founder, right? What's his name? I forget his name there. I won't mess up there. Being arrested in France. France's attempt to humiliate and tarnish the guy. Wow. The guy that's owns Telegram. How about this one here? Number 61, Jeffrey Sachs. How many of you met how Jeffrey Sachs, how to save the United States from getting sucked into utterly a catastrophic wars with Iran and Russia? Well, how many of you met Jeffrey Sachs, right? And then just yesterday, number 60, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, he had Steve Bannon. Maybe they discussed one too many things. So how many of you watched all of these? And every time you watched one, how many of you said, how long are they going to let Tucker do this? I have multiple times, like, someone going to put a stop to him one day. One day. How long are they going to let him do this? And I mean allow him to do this is exactly what I mean, right? So I watched that, and then I got to thinking, you know what? There's a side here in this that we're not really talking about. And I'm going to put this up, and I'm going to leave this out here for you, right? You got this right here, number 21. It started, right? Tucker Carlson sparks full-scale meltdown from Ted Cruz, right? Ted Cruz gets real angry. Trump called him once he was a great asset. Give me 31. He was a great asset to the president, but he just kept on pushing. He kept on pushing. We tried to tell you not just to stop pushing, but you couldn't stop. What to know about Trump's spat with Tucker Carlson, right? The kooky guy, right? The kooky guy. I want this one in a minute. Here, I'll get that one there. So let me put this into play. And we're going to put this into play. I have it here somewhere. Remember this right here. Daggone it, where's it at? Seems like it was just yesterday this happened at the Pentagon, number 85. And this is something that is not anywhere else. It's not in play, all right? 3 individuals have been removed from the Pentagon in connection with an ongoing investigation into unauthorized disclosures of sensitive information. Dan Caldwell, all right, an advisor to the defense secretary on U.S. military operations. These officials were placed on administrative leave or removed from their positions following an investigation that included the use of polygraphs, according to the American Legion, right? The investigation was prompted in part by a mix-up where the Atlantic magazine's top editor was mistakenly included in a signal chat. Houthi rebels funded by Iran. Now, you remember this? Because you got to remember the signal chat. You got to remember Mike Waltz. You got to remember Laura Loomer going into the Oval Office with Trump. The next thing you know, Mike Waltz is out. Next thing you know, he's UN ambassador. They sent him to Siberia, right? And next thing you know, 3 of Mike Waltz's closest people in the DNI, right? What was he? Advisor, top intelligence advisor. They're gone also. Laura Loomer, right? Next thing you know, the individuals are removed. Now, give me number 86, Dan Caldwell. Joint statement from Dan Caldwell. We are incredibly disappointed by the manner in which our service at the Department of Defense ended. Unnamed Pentagon officials have slandered our character with baseless attacks on our way out the door. All three of us served the country honorably in uniform. For two of us, this included deployments to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and based on our collective service, we understand the importance information security worked every day to protect it. All right. So they are accused of leaks. They are marched to the door. Marched to the door from the Pentagon. All right. You don't hear anything else. Now, when do I feel the downhill spiral that was ending Tucker Carlson? Number 71 was right here. I think when you go from the Pentagon and you've been walked out the door and President Trump and Pete Hegseth, I don't think you get to go to Tucker Carlson's, and then Tucker Carlson, or I don't want to say you live to talk about it because that would be a little over the top. Dan Caldwell was one of the strongest voices at the Pentagon opposing war with Iran. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. I wonder if that is part of the puzzle. Just telling you. Then he was falsely accused of leaking classified documents and fired. Now, since this interview, Tucker has never retracted that bold statement. This was not, I remember the day, and Diane, you remember the day that I brought this up on this program. I said this is a statement of fact. There's no question mark behind it. There's no Tucker Carlson. This is Dan's view of what happened that day. I can go back and show you on the day this came out where I reported on this program that Tucker made this statement of fact. It's never been retracted. Now, this guy has not been spoke of since, right? Where's he at? He has not been spoke of since. You don't hear a peep that I'm aware of. But to me, this was the end. Okay? Introduction. What would happen if the U.S. went to war with Iran? The real reason the U.S. invaded Iraq, the military power of Iran, the global coalition Iran has formed because of the U.S. Is this evil or stupidity? How Trump exposed regime change wars, right? Let's see. The real reason Caldwell was fired. Was Caldwell the source of the leaks? How Caldwell was escorted out. So, Dan Caldwell, they say, was one of the strongest voices not to go to war with Iran. So, regime change. Who gets to be in charge? Is that in the next couple days? Why is China flying into, in the dark of night, flying into, turning the transponders off, flying into Iran? What's going on? Is China going to support Iran? Because I'll tell you this, and I know what you're going to do. This may be something you laugh at, and I'm serious. You may laugh at this when I put this up. All right. We do have the firepower to just wipe Iran off the face of the earth. We do. We absolutely do. But this one right here, had it a minute ago. Give me 56. They may use our weapons we left. If the United States intervenes militarily against Iran, we will take action of our own, and we will not stand idly by. Afghanistan official announcement. Really? Really? Where we spent 20 years, we built the roads for China to get to the mines for the rare earth materials. We rebuilt your entire country. We went into debt, further debt, and that's the way you treat us? So let me just say this. They want you to believe that all these nuclear sites. So I want to get out for the Georgia hour, and I don't want to belabor it, but let me show you this. Number 77. Laura Loomer. Now, I do not dislike Laura Loomer. I don't. And she's done some great research. She's done some great research against Brad Raffensperger. She tends to do really good research in the benefit of Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States. Do I think Laura Loomer carries Donald J. Trump's water? Yes. Am I attacking her for it? No. But I do believe when it's time for her to carry out her mission for Trump, she follows Donald J. Trump's lead. Take your bet. Which MAGA grifters will be the first to ask the Trump administration for a favor or be first to beg to visit the White House or Mar-a-Lago after bashing Trump and calling him names over Iran? That'd be Marjorie Taylor Greene. So many grifters turning on President Trump. I hope he punishes them all. I would say the forefront is Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? I think Charlie Kirk, you'll see. Now, number 78, she wrote all of this and attacks and claims that Tucker Carlson should just be honest that he's a mouthpiece for the genocidal Muslims. All right. I, do not believe that, but that is what Laura's mission is. And number 79, Laura's mission is, here we have Tulsi Gabbard's surfing buddy. So she feels it's her place to attack Tulsi Gabbard and go after her. Why did our DNI director, Tulsi Gabbard, go surfing with this guy? I think we deserve an answer. How come Hinkle hasn't been arrested and charged for his affiliations with the Islamic terrorists? So, not saying her research is off, but where was this research on any of these people when they were side by side with Donald Trump? Where was the research on Tucker before, right? Was it let him go? Where was the research on Tulsi before? Was it let her go? That's what I really, me personally, I have a problem with, is I don't believe in the takedown. You know, I don't believe in the takedown whenever necessary there or told. Give me this one right here. This guy thinks he's waiting in the wings. 102. This is the king of Iran. Is he waiting in the wings? The king of Iran. Interesting, right? Put that up there. Let me make sure. See what I have left here. Yes, the son of the Shah says, hey, don't worry, we're on our way. Now, I want to do this before I leave here. Number 48. The President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, should have addressed the country. He should have. He should have come out in an Oval Office address, all right? And don't take this wrong, not take any questions from the media, not get in a fight with the media, not make any off-the-cuff comments, all right? But he should have come out and addressed the American people. And he probably should have said to the American people, look, I made a campaign promise. But I've made a campaign promise for America first and your security. And as your president of the United States, I feel your security is at risk, and I'm going to eliminate that risk to the American people. In doing that, it may call for action that you may not agree with. But my first and foremost focus will always be first you, and first your safety, and taking care of America and make sure that it could never be attacked by a foreign land. That's all you got to do. Look at the American people and tell them, okay? We don't need CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. We don't need Tucker Carlson. We don't need Marjorie Taylor Greene. We don't need Steve Bannon. We don't need Joe Poole, whoever. We don't need Jack Posobiec of all people. We don't need all these people telling us what might happen next. Are we going to do a bunker buster? Are we going to fly with Iran? And I have to say nicely, Mr. President, I just don't need a Truth Social post that tells me, unconditional surrender. That's not an answer to the American people. Now, I will tell you what I'm upset with. The American people want gas prices to go down. And this is not narrow-minded, short-sighted or anything. We want gas prices to go down. All right? We don't want to pay $3.25. We don't want to pay $3.50, $3.75, $4. We don't want to. And we know there's the ability of gas prices going down. Now, for weeks, your administration has put out that gas prices are going down. Now, Iran says they may put mines in the Strait of Hormuz if U.S. joins Israel's strike, officials warn. All right? Now, I don't know what's going to happen today on oil prices, but these little things right here flip the market out. And let me show the American people out there something briefly, number 49. This is the Strait of Hormuz. Now, as you can see, right, Kuwait ships their oil through it. The little elbow there that you see, the elbow, that's the strait, okay? Kuwait ships their oil. Iraq has a very small access. They ship. Bahrain, they ship. Saudi Arabia's ports, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, they ship. Everybody ships through that elbow. Everybody. Even Iran. Well, Iran could ship down here at the Gulf of Oman. All right. But UAE, they have a tough spot. Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq. They have to go around the elbow to get to their ass. Sorry, but they do. Iran says they're going to bomb that little elbow right there. They're going to wire it with bombs. Just saying. Now, going into 4th of July, where we will not be getting the great, big, beautiful bill, it's not going to happen by 4th of July, is what we're being told. But going into the 4th of July, going into the summer, it would be nice in the Donald Trump administration for all of us to brag that gas is around $2.25, tops out at $2.75 across this country. Not $3.25 to $4.25. And everything about this doesn't surround the price of gas for me, but I know how the core of the American people think. And don't forget, while this is happening, I've told you all along, 37, they're setting back the sanctions. Doesn't look like sanctions are going through right now. They'll have to talk about that later. All right. We'll have to discuss sanctions at a later time. All right. And Russia's sanctions on pause as Iran conflict. And number 46, Russia is pounding right now Kiev. All right. Ukraine war latest massive Russian attack kills 24, injured 134 in Kiev. They are pounding it, and this is they lost it. Video 8.
The G7 used to be the G8. Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau didn't want to have Russia in. And I would say that was a mistake, because I think you wouldn't have a war right now if you had Russia in. You know, you have your enemy at the table. Even, I don't even consider him, he wasn't really an enemy at that time. There was no concept. If I were president, this war would have never happened. But likewise, if he were a member of what was called the G8 at that time, it was always the G8, you wouldn't have a war right now.
Why not have China at the G8? Why not have China here, the biggest economy in the world after the United States?
Well, it's not a bad idea. I don't mind that. If somebody wants to suggest China coming in, I think we suggest. But you want to have people that you can talk to. You know, they don't talk. Putin speaks to me. He doesn't speak to anybody else. He doesn't want to talk, because he was very insulted when he got thrown out of the G8. As I would be, as you would be, as anybody would be. He was very insulted. And, I mean, he was thrown out by Trudeau, who convinced one or two people, along with Obama. He was thrown out, and he's not a happy person about it, I can tell you that.
He was thrown out of the GA, according to Trump. Don't forget, Vladimir Putin called Trump on his birthday. Said, "Happy birthday, Donald. How are you?" "I'm doing good, Vladimir. How are you?" "I'm going up to Canada. Tell him up there, Donald, they suck." I don't know. Maybe that's what he said. I don't know. I've told you all along, we are normalizing relations with Russia. Russia wants to normalize relations, so they're not, right now that I'm aware of, they're not going to get involved in Iran. But number 43, I find this interesting. 43. We have pulled back our embassy, right? U.S. closes embassy in Jerusalem until Friday. Take the rest of the week off. Something might happen. Until Friday. Just saying. All right, when we return, it'll be time for the Georgia Hour. Take a break, Diane.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we're proud because for more than 65 years, we've built a legacy of trust for the families we serve. That's why 80% of our business comes from repeat customers and referrals. When you treat folks as well as we do, word is bound to get around. Days Chevrolet in Jasper, family first since 1959. Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, When you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and it's time for the Georgia Hour. Time for the Georgia Hour on voiceofruralamerica.com. Trying to find my way here. Time for the Good Morning, Diane, 10 o'clock. So we got a couple things going on, and I want to, we have our public service commissioner candidates for the primary. All right. Public Service Commissioner primary candidates. So let's go with that. We have Tim Echols has won in, what is it, the 2nd District. Let's start there, okay? And I'm always cautious to use the word nothing. I mean, nothing is zero, right? And some people will say to me, well, you got to find, there's got to be a little hope here or a little hope there, or something you find that we're headed in the right direction. Or, I like this one right here. We're moving the ball. Okay? They say someone said they keep losing my audio. You're the only one that has said that thus far. So anyhow, okay. Someone said they keep losing my audio. I don't know if it's us or one of the platforms we're on, but Diane, does everything seem to be coming through properly? If it does, we're going to power through. Okay. Now, that being said, if for some reason you're having problems with audio, let us know out there, and we appreciate when you do let us know things, or if you can hear us loud and clear. So I get times when looks good on my end. All right, anyone else? Often at times, can't you find a bright spot? Can't you just look and say we're moving the ball in the right direction? And I will have to tell you, when 2020 hit, what took place in Georgia. Now, my good friend Garland Favorito voted GA all the way back to die voting machines. And when Dominion came in, he and some others predicted what the future could hold. We hear quite often that Trump won on the machines. He won on the machines. Okay. But when 2020 comes and goes and we know all the players and we know what happened, and we sit here today and no one's been arrested. Okay. No one's been arrested, and we watch people want to be complicit in another stolen election, which is the Georgia GOP Inc. convention. And someone's going to say, are you ever going to shut up about that? And my thought is, well, wait a minute. Am I going to shut up about the 2020 election? So, one of the most controversial comments I've ever made on this program. This will be the most controversial comment I think I've ever made on this program. And I say it twice because I pause because I don't want to say it, but I read everything. And I, for one, do not post my religious opinion. Okay? I don't post my religious opinion on social media as far as prayers, answer to prayers. I don't look to God to go to Facebook and say, I pray or whatever. Now, I have nothing against, this is why it's controversial. I want to be very clear. I have nothing against you sharing your faith. I have nothing against you sharing an answer to prayer. And it's not my place. That's why I'm cautious here. But I've been reading prayers. I've been reading prayers and people's comments of answers to prayers concerning the Georgia GOP convention and the outcome. And I have to make a very bold statement that's probably going to get me kicked out across the state line by many of you. God does not answer a prayer in support of a lie, cheating, stealing, corruption that you can say, thank God. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. He does not support that prayer. I'm sorry, I got to be candid. It's the most controversial thing I've ever done. People are going to say, well, it's not my place to decide what prayers God answers. If you pray for something and God knows there's corruption behind it, theft, lies, cheating, manipulation, all the above, dirty deeds, done dirt cheap, Debbie Dooley, whatever. If all this is behind it, Katie Frost, right? Brant Frost, Josh McCoon. If all of this is behind this, it cannot be equal to an answer of prayer for you that you got rid of what you label the bad people. So I'm just going to say that. Now, let's be clear. We have the public service commissioners elections in Georgia. Do you know, and when I say correct me, you can tell me, all right? But I think by law, your county has to anticipate every registered voter shows up, right? Off year, odd time elections are double and tripling down on the corrupt motive to control things. Bottom line, okay? We need an election day. All right, we have counties, you'll put a splost on the ballot at the weirdest damn time in the world, right? Now, a lot of times, splost is on the ballot when they know someone's on vacation or something like that. All right, just saying. But they'll put it on the ballot weirdest times. Special elections, I get that. By law, when someone leaves a post, you have to fill it within so much time. You call for a special, okay, all right. But do you realize all of these special elections that take place, like the one yesterday, that you have early voting for God knows a month, and your counties have to call in the extra support, all right? So when you go to your county and you go to early vote, there's the same amount of machines set up anticipating who could show up the numbers, right? Irrelevant to cost. Doesn't matter. No cost, no option. Let me say this that is going to get me in trouble. The cost to manipulate and steal an election, it's irrelevant. At any cost. We'll do it at any cost, right? And then you have the extra people on staff anticipating. Now, some counties maybe don't go all out, but for the most part, they do. And then there's election day. You have all the early voting. You have all the people you pay. It's in the budget, right? You have to get the machines out. You have to test every machine. Tell me where I'm wrong. Because you got to anticipate every registered voter. So they got to get them out of the warehouse or the storage unit, right? You got to have the chain of custody. You got to get them out the week before. You got to test all the machines, all of them. You got to write every single machine. You got to report. You got to write every one. Then once you're done, you got to box them back up. Before you do, you have to run another test or whatever and put in your report. You have to do that. So if your county, like I have a small county, so let's say my county has 150 machines, 12 locations. Let's just say 10 per location. Okay, leave it there. Or 5. 10 locations, 5. We got 50 machines. 50 have to be toted out. 50 have to be checked. 50 have to be, have to check the memory cards, all the above. They have to be loaded with that election, 50 of them toted out to the precinct. Now, you cannot, if you have 12 precincts in these elections, you got to open all 12. If you got a vote that comes up that you only need 2 precincts, right, in the county, that's suppressing the vote. That is, whatever you want to call it, on the vote. No. What if that person can't get there and they live in precinct, 37? You got to have your machines out there. And then what if everybody shows up and they have to wait in line, knowing good and well? So I'll leave it there. The fact that our state legislature, after all these years with SB 202 and SB 189 and others, that turned it into an election season, Saturday voting, Sunday voting, right? 3 weeks in advance. And then you throw all these elections in the year on there. At what cost? Is not dodging anything. So don't go around campaigning you're going to doge Georgia when we just throw the money out the window to hold these elections. Now, that being said, we have I'm going to get into some things happening with Marjorie Taylor Greene and others, but some of you are not on social media and you rely on this show and you have not seen this. So this is yesterday, number 83. Now, David Cross ran, he was former second vice chair of the Georgia Republican Party. And he ran for chairman of the Georgia Republican Party up against Josh McCoon. Now, he was told, and if something has changed and he was able to locate it, I will check after the show. But as of this morning, he was told that this email was sent to him via email. Justin Rice, the Georgia GOP Inc. executive director, John White. Now, everyone involved in the party in Georgia, the Republican Party, knows. Everyone. The Josh side, all right, the non-Josh side, the David side, the non-David side, because there's all these fractions out there. But everyone knows generally, and won't say it out loud, John White has to go. Now, John is the parliamentarian of the Georgia Republican Party, Inc. And what John's job is to do is to manipulate anything in the rule book and read it the way that Josh would wish for him to read it. Exactly. John knows what happened in the convention. John knows what happened with the chairman of the convention, right? Every bit of it. He knows what happened with the microphones, point of order. He knows. He's complicit in what I consider the convention being and the election a crime. John is complicit in what I believe was a crime from the people. Now, so if you are in your county, because we're this is the Georgia Hour and we're on Republican politics right now. Because why does this continue to matter? We're going into 2026. And they did not ask you to unify. Now, the lawmakers are going to come to you, the candidates, and say, well, that wasn't us. And they're going to whisper to you, well, we didn't really support that. You didn't? No, but we need your help. So David appealed the convention, and David A. Cross, Mr. David Cross, in response to your communication to the State Appeals Committee regarding an appeal, contest, or nullification of the recent Georgia GOP convention, please be advised that there is no provision in the rules of the Georgia Republican Party to appeal or contest the decision of the convention once it's been adjourned. Sine die, it's over. Once we steal it, there's no recourse. You need to understand, once we gavel that out, now, I want you to pay attention to this for a reason. Because the appeals committee, these people, in my opinion, as I keep saying, they're so damn corrupt. So corrupt. This has got to be behind the 2020, because there's nothing that takes precedence over what happened in the 2020. This has got to be one of the biggest cover-ups in Georgia politics. Now, what they have said here is we have finalized the grassroots from ever getting into leadership positions. They call themselves the grassroots. Not true. They say they support the grassroots. Not true. They say they support you in the 2nd district over here and over here. Not true. Wait till Candace Taylor finds out that that support starts dissipating. She'll lose it, or it'll go further in the loss column. Whatever, right? Not true. Because you have to understand, the people, you see, the establishment, and don't call them grassroots, the establishment in 2023, before I took the stage, David Cross took the stage, don't forget, David Schaefer is the chair. Right? We can get into that on another day. Never believe. David Schaefer was indicted by Fonnie Willis, should have never been indicted by Fonnie Willis. But I'm not a David Schaefer fan, and I will leave it there very nicely. Okay? Because in the interest of time. But on that day, in 2023, in June, David Schaefer's the chair, right? BJ Van Gundy is the first vice chair, and Brant Frost is the second vice chair. We'll leave it there for now, right? Leave it there. Mike Walsh is the secretary. Vicky Consiglio, if I remember right, was she not the treasurer? But anyhow, let's go with the first three. That was the day. Now, Amy Kramer, and we'll cover that different, Amy Kramer the next year became the RNC Georgia State Committee woman. But that day right there, they had to start putting a mechanism in place. You see, David Schaefer handed it over to Josh McCoon. It was supposed to get handed over to BJ Van Gundy, all right, Jason Thompson's best friend. It was supposed to get handed back over to Brant Frost. They all play a role, every one of them. And on that day, they decided to put every check, dot every I, and cross every T for this to never happen again. From here on out, they'll only be, the winners will only be who they install. All right? Well, Lori McLean won. We'll talk about that at a different time. All right? And Shaundi Zappendorf won, and we thought, we'll talk about that at a different time. Trust me. But never again. Now, if you're in a county and your convention, because you remember a couple years ago, going back, Chatham County, their delegates, boom, their convention was contested. Their delegates were taken out. I was there when Chatham County's delegates all got disqualified, right? I have seen counties, conventions. Remember when Pickens County had to redo their convention? Oh, you don't remember that? Well, I do. Why do you think they don't like me? I remember too much shit, right? You remember when Pickens had to redo their convention? Because if Pickens County did not redo, this is several years ago, and I'm not knocking the people at Pickens. I'm saying things happen, all right? Right? There's an appeals process. And this is not an attack at anybody in Pickens County, because everybody at that time and everybody there today, well, except with the new chairman, she doesn't care for me very much. But if she cared for me very much, I'd go to the meetings, but I'm not invited. I used to get invited to Pickens County. I don't anymore. But that being said, I liked all those people. I like all those people. But there was a problem with their convention. It was contested, right, in the 9th District of County, and Pickens County's convention had to be redone. Or if they did not redo it, they risk losing what? Their delegates to the district and the state. Go check it out. I always say, go check it out. That's what happened, right? Happened in Chatham County. It's happened before. Now, Cobb County's convention, it was contested, this past one, and there was a mechanism in Cobb County to appeal the contested election, regardless of who you were for. And what happened? They did not get it in time with the amount of delegates necessary to do that. But here, what the Georgia GOP has done, they said, we have finalized it. There's no mechanism. You see, we will install. You will never get the delegates again. You will never say a bad word about the party again or anything about the party. You see, disparaging the party could equal me out there saying, we need to do new rules. We need to revamp the party. We need to change things. We need to investigate things. They have put every single check in place to make sure that the Georgia Republican Party is in the hands. They've decided, you got your Katie Frost, you got your Sally Grubbs, you got your Josh McCoon, and that it never is even close to open for grassroots to take leadership positions. Because everything in Georgia now, everything from the party to the candidates that are on the ballot, all right, so there's someone called me the other day, right? There's an opening. I'm going to leave it like that. There's an opening. And I said to the individual, have you been chosen for that office? What do you mean by that? Have you, has the leadership, has the speaker, has the governor, have you been chosen for that office? Well, I don't think so. I'm just deciding I'm going to run. Well, okay, so you've not been chosen for it. They have worked for years in Georgia to put every mechanism in place that's how it totally works, to the point that if you say, Noreen Cantor, I knew they sweat every second when she said, if they're not being Republicans, we're going to primary them. I could just see them sweating, right? But they have it fixed totally 100% that you and I cannot participate, and it will go the way. And I have to tell you, please stop going to these things and taking pictures with these people. I mean, I cannot believe the godliness. Now, I'm not in Pennsylvania, and I'm not in Missouri, and I'm not in Kansas anymore. Well, I never was in Kansas, just have to say it that way. I'm not there for anything whatsoever. So I don't know. Maybe they do it out there. I don't know. But Georgia's the worst place in the world. Are you people all lining up to get a picture with some, of my opinion, corrupt politician? Why the hell you keep doing that? Like you've met your hero. These are not your damn heroes. Why, my hero's right over there. My state senator, he's amazing. What do you do about the 2020 election being stolen? That's not what matters. I'm getting my picture. Okay, so someone said the other day I get a little out there sometimes, and I said I'm like a NASCAR. I get a little loose in the corners. I do. So here you go. Once we've stolen, it's over. I love the statement. GOP rules provide that the Georgia Republican Convention is the plenary governing body of the Georgia Republican Party with the duty, power, and privileges necessary to do so while in session. So what are you telling me, John? I could have went to the microphone that was blocked out and say, I object, I object. Is that what you're telling me, John? Huh? So what you're telling me is when I was at those microphones, I get tired of your people's shit. I mean, I'm flat tired of your bullshit, and I'll be damned. Don't go on there again and read this stuff knowing they blocked the mics, telling me my only chance and my only recourse to question this convention was to try to knock down a guy bigger. I'm pretty damn big, buddy, pretty damn big, and I'd had to knock down a guy bigger than me. And then we got the albino rhino roaming around like he's a buffalo out there on the Great Plains, right? And then we've got Debbie Dooley over there going, You damn people just piss me the hell off with your damn lies, cheating, stealing, and corruption. And then you send out a letter like this. Sorry, Mom. Please forgive me, Mom. Please. May God forgive me also. You damn people send these letters out and then say, oh, if you would have got to a microphone, because we were still, you could have said, I object. Oh, you didn't hear Stacey Dornan? You didn't hear her? You didn't hear her object? Huh? You didn't hear me say, hey, I object. You didn't hear Field Cersei go to the mic and say, hey, we can't validate these clickers. You didn't hear any of that, John? Oh, that's right. You guys were ignoring it. This is not the direction I was going in. The rules provide. So with the duty, power, and privileges necessary to do so while in session, once the convention has been adjourned, sine die, all business is considered final, since the convention is dissolved and there is no provision for reconvening. Well, hell, that explains it, John. So here is about the best answer we could give on how we manipulated, stole, and told you to kiss our ass election. I mean, John White, all of you might as well went out and said, meeting adjourned. Right? I mean, seriously. Yes, but I know you're going to vote Republican. I know you're going to get behind our candidates, right? You're going to. You're not going to. Why, yes. I am your march in step dumbass that I keep every year. Why, I'm within the group of march in step dumbasses. You keep treating us this way? But we keep coming back and saying, rah, 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 vote Republican. Huh. Can you help us put out some signs? Can you help us make some phone calls? We have to have a voter get out effort, and we need you. Oh, you do you? I mean, you can't make this up, all right? You can't make any of this up. So, for those there that are going to attack me today, okay, you had your opportunity once the convention was gavelled out, all the times you yelled at that microphone, all the complaints you made, the fact that you went there and thought you were going to. Now, look, I showed you this the other day, okay? Is he going to just talk about that convention every day? No, I'm going to show you what else I'm going to throw in the mix, because I'm going to throw you something else right in the damn mix. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I got to stop that. That has to stop immediately. I told you right now. So now the delegates, 1,600 delegates. I thought I had one here, Diane. Do I have this? Yeah, give me 115, Diane. 115. Here's a survey that was sent out, okay? And I got several messages about first-time delegates. They also did that at the convention. They made sure the people that went for the first time, I mean, they drove home. People that went for the first time, they can lie. They can pin it on me. They can say, oh, he's just trying to cause trouble. Well, let me tell you what I was not. I was not in the car with the husband and wife that were driving home from their first convention they ever attended, looking at each other and said, I could have just taken the $800. I could have just taken the $1,000. It'd have been cheaper for me to flush $500 down the commode and pay a plumber $500 to come over and unstop the commode. I still would have had a lot more time on my hands to do something productive. Yeah. Now, the Georgia Republican Party, Inc., Josh McCoon, and all of them will lead you to believe that didn't happen. They'll lead you to believe people are okay. We're going to move on. In fact, here's what they did. They got their what? Their puppets, marionettes. This is my Georgia Republican Party marionettes. Dance, 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 right? They got them. They started with Alex Johnson. So here, the GRA participates in stealing. Well, no, it wasn't officially the GRA. Wait a minute. One. Is he still? And I want to go back to this one. Don't forget where this one's at, Diane. Don't get me all worked up today. Number one, I'm like a NASCAR. I get a little loose in the turns sometimes, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to steal the election. We're going to shut the mics off. You cannot contest anything because we know once we gavel this out, it's high time. So Georgia Republican Assembly, that's his badge. That's the albino rhino. He actually goes by Brant Frost. He's a very, very bad person, okay? So the GRA from Chairman McCoon, Candace batshit crazy Taylor, all right, batting eighth because she's batshit crazy. Candace Taylor, right? They're all praying in a circle. They have prayer meetings, and they feel God provided them an avenue to steal from you. That seems to be the answer to prayer that they feel happened. So what they did is after I will tell you now, you know who you are out there. And you know I care for you, and I think the world of you, and that will not change on my side. And I'm not going to attack you. But I'll be damned, take that GRA badge off and put it on the ground somewhere and take your heel and just grind it down in that ground till it's just ground to pieces, and then take a picture and send it to Alex Johnson and say, here's what I think of you and the organization, whether you say it or not, participating in stealing the election Saturday. Right? Boom. All right, so put that down. Go back to the survey. Right? So what do? They immediately go to Alex. Go right to Alex Johnson. Alex, can you help us out here? Put out a post. Yeah, put out a post and lead people to believe this is one of the best conventions you've ever attended. Why, it's amazing, right? And Alex puts that out. All hell broke loose. So here's a survey. Total attended delegates, 226. So there was only 226 that returned that. Did you attend the convention? Yes. Were you a delegate alternate? Or yes. Not fair. Do you think the convention was handled fairly? 88.1%, 199 to 226 said no. No, it was not. Rate the convention from 1 star is the worst to 5 stars the best, and the average score out of 226 could only come up to 1.7. Right? Oh, I know. Those people are waiting to make your phone calls and waiting to do a voter turnout and waiting to cheer at your rallies. They're waiting. They can't wait to put out your signs. Right? They can't wait. Now, I will say this. So then Alex puts out, and this is old news, he puts out the, hey, I think I've got a backstep here, and I got to try to figure out how, right, to separate the GRA from this. This is going to be a tough one. So he puts out his second newsletter, right? Well, I may have to retract. That's my word, not his, not quoting the newsletter. Some of the things in my first newsletter, seems some of you are concerned because I've only been to conventions for years and I didn't recognize any of that. So I had to put out a survey to hear you say it because I was too damn dumb to say it out loud to begin with and be bold and out front and say, this is a problem. So he goes with his second one, right? Then they go all over the state bragging that Brad Raffensperger, why, he can't be on the ballot anymore. He's a Republican and he can't be on the ballot. They passed a resolution saying Brad Raffensperger cannot run as a Republican. Now, this is a screenshot sent to me. 117. This is Jordan Fuchs. Now, Dennis Futch, there's not an amount of money that I will take to look the other way. There's not an amount of money that I will take to look the other way. And I'm not going to get in depth on Dennis Futch today. But we all know in the Georgia GOP circle, Dennis Futch is very, very, very wealthy. And we know Dennis can drop a pretty good pile of money in certain districts at certain times, and you guys will write those glowing love letters about Dennis Futch. And Josh McCoon will talk about his rural voter turnout machine that Dennis, because a great amount of money. Now, I will say this, and this is not a kick in the teeth to Dennis Futch, and I don't want to battle with him. I don't care. But Dennis, if you only heard what I heard, if you only knew what I knew, I don't know that you should be putting down any amount of money for them to talk about the way they do behind your back. But I guess as long as they praise you in public. So Jordan Fuchs works for the Secretary of State's office. Jordan Fuchs. We all know in Georgia Fuchs. Now, this is a conversation. We don't have the whole conversation. We just want to put something up, okay? And we want to show you the kind of spin. This is why it gets me when I see a post like this and I see the next one and say, well, God answered my prayers. I prayed for Josh to win, and Josh won. And that's wrong. What I just did was totally wrong. But I'd do it again if given a second chance, and I shouldn't have done it the first time. But here you go. So Looks empty. Jordan Fuchs works for the Secretary of State's office. My understanding is Jordan Fuchs has already left the Secretary of State's office to start working on the campaign side. Now, we don't know if she's working on Brad Raffensperger's campaign side for governor or senator, U.S. senator, because she has run Brad Raffensperger campaign. I dealt with Jordan the whole time he ran for Secretary of State. I worked with her the entire time when we were setting up the debate. I negotiated with her. When I say negotiated, when we start talking about how the questions, where people were going to stand, all the things that happen in a debate. So I know Jordan pretty well. You know Jordan out there also. So we don't know Gabriel Sterling. We hear stories that Gabriel Sterling wants to run for Secretary of State in Georgia. But Jordan Fuchs, right? She's in a conversation and says, looks empty, very sad. I remember the days when we had 300 plus in attendance. Sign of the time. She's basically saying, you know, your party is, that's where it's at. That's your party. Now, I will look you in the eye in the camera. The legal battle, I feel very strongly you will lose if you take on Brad Raffensperger with a non-binding legal resolution. You see, the thing is they were supposed to just give you something, throw some chum into the animals. Well, sir, the animals are rustlers. Throw some chum in there. Okay, Brad Raffensperger can't run for office. We didn't see anything else. We're just happy that that piece of paper's out here. I have to tell you, these people in that room are not that dumb, and they should not be treated the way you treat them. But Alex Johnson, oh yes, Brad Raffensperger, look what we got. Now, here's the thing. When I say correct, I understand all the resolutions were put into one because they were losing. They did not get the rules because we lost quorum. People got so disgusted, we lost quorum on the rules. But the resolutions, the reason, okay, it pains me to have to break the truth to you. It really does. Not tell you the truth, but break it to you. Now, in the past, I have been to too many conventions. And too many conventions. All right? I don't want to tell you this. I don't want to break your little hearts. All right. In the past, I've been to so many conventions, and resolutions take 2/3. 2/3, right? And the rules committee set up the rules for the convention. And the resolutions take 2/3. Now, with the grassroots and the people that are the true fighters out there, they're the ones that write these resolutions. They write them about their water supply, about fluoride, about their community, whatever. They write the resolutions. Now, on the state level, when a resolution is passed, a copy is to be sent to all the leadership, governor's office, lieutenant governor, to let them know these are the resolutions that the Georgia Republican Party supports. All right, basically. So in the past, what they've always done is they've always said you have to have 2/3 quorum, 2/3 vote for resolutions. Resolutions, we get done with the elections, we don't do resolutions. We lost quorum. So somebody comes up to me, and it developed. Somebody comes up to me in the convention and says, hey, look at this. Look at the rule here. Now, they passed out the rules 30 minutes before the convention starts. Sergeant at Arms going down there passing out rules, right? So you got about 30 minutes to read the rules. And this person comes to me and said, am I reading this correctly? The rules take 2/3 to pass. So we had a bunch of new rules. Oh, yeah. Remember rules that were going to about finances? But anyhow, but this person said, am I reading this correct? It only takes 40% of the quorum I mean, 40% of the delegates registered to pass resolutions. And I said to this individual, I said, yes. They're like, well, that's different. I said, yes, that's interesting. Something's here. So I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, so why did the Rules Committee, knowing in the past they don't want resolutions, why would they say 40%? And why would Alex Jones and them, why would the GRA fight for that 40%? And why would they pass it when they've never done this before? And why would they let us get resolutions? I'm going to tell you why they let you do that. One, the resolutions were passed in a package, I understand. I was there. It was hard to hear. So I understand someone made a motion. I understand the resolutions were passed in a package, which the Raffensperger resolution was in there. Now, correct me if the Raffensperger resolution was voted on individually. Correct that. All right. So the resolutions all passed. First time in, I don't know, ever since I've gone to conventions, right? And we didn't lose a quorum. You know why they did that? Because after the theft of the convention, and after the way they ran over the delegates, and after the way they cheated in the corrupt style that they did, they said, look, we'll pass resolutions, and that'll give us something to kindly an olive branch back to some people. That sounds interesting. Here's what we'll do. We'll steal the convention, and then we'll go out and say, guess what? Brad Raffensperger can't run as a Republican. You need to overlook the fact we stole the convention. Now, here's how we do that. They're going to get upset. Once the convention is stolen and the election is stolen and rigged right before my eyes, right? Once that's done, we're going to have to be able to go right into resolutions. This was all a plan. And when we go into resolutions, we're going to have to get to Raffensperger, and we're going to have to go out there, and Alex Johnson will carry the water from the GRA that, man, what an amazing look at the resolutions we got. Forget about the stolen election. So Brad Raffensperger can run as a Republican. Dennis Futz, you all need to understand, we averted a catastrophe from happening today with the election of the officers. By the time resolution rules were taken up, we had lost quorum for the rule change, but unfortunately not for the resolutions. Couldn't get no new rules. No. Hell with those new rules. No. We'll leave that in the 2/3 column. You knew what was going to happen. There's a reason they moved the resolutions to the 40% column, but kept the rules in the 2/3 column. You can't make up this corruption. You can't make it up, okay? And what I love is every day they roll it out, and I don't have to. They spell it out for you. I don't have to spell it out. But not resolutions carry no weight of law. Well, wait a minute, Dennis, you better be careful. That's Jordan Fuchs. She's running Brad Raffensperger. Are you telling me, Dennis, that Brad Raffensperger can run as a Republican? Well, I'll be damned. Damn. Resolutions carry no weight of law and serve very little meaningful purpose, just makes them feel they are making a difference. I got to sit back on that. I mean, I don't know. Is it hats off to Dennis for Jordan Fuchs working for Brad Raffensperger? You can't make this up, right? FYI, hundreds of people were turned away because there was nowhere left to park, and we had several hundred that were disqualified due to their nominating convention not being handled correctly. Dennis, are you sure about that information you put out? Are you sure? Dalton, while a nice facility, is not capable of handling the event. Dennis, are you saying we went to Dalton because they were not capable of handling the event and we needed a location where we could put our steel and rig an election and pull it off? Is that what you're saying? Right, where we could have the first couple rows up front were VIP and most of them stayed in the green room. The Georgia GOP is alive and well and now better prepared to help Republicans win in 2026. In what world are you living in, Dennis? What world are you living in, huh? Because you're not living in my world, because that's the bizarro world. So I was not going that direction, and the reason I did is because, let me show you this. Well, I'll do that one tomorrow. Democrats, give me this, number 3. There is absolutely no way to verify this election whatsoever, and no way to contest this election once stolen. No way to verify results, and no way to contest once the steal is in. The Republican Party of Georgia, of all places. Wow. Donald Trump is probably really proud of you. Would you not say that? Because I told you the other day there's something bad wrong with all these people, Charlie Kirk, all of them, the Turning Point marionettes, all right, from Turning Point. There's something bad wrong of why they had to save Josh McCoon in this position, regardless if they win in 2026 or not. And putting out statements that they avoided a catastrophe. Number 1, right? This guy right here, the albino rhino. Do not. I have a lot of friends that's very upset that I say this, but the GRA was complicit. So I would not join the GRA, and I would get out of the GRA. And don't tell me you got a plan to take over with the officers when it comes election time. They will rig that. If they participated in one rigged election, they'll participate in another. You know what? I have seen this, okay? They're going to call me a liar. They are. They're going to flat call me a liar. Debbie Dooley, listen up, all right? I have seen the GRA take someone outside and hold up the endorsed by the GRA sign, take a picture because the individual was going to have to leave and wouldn't be available for the picture afterwards. After their race was done, they would have to leave and they wouldn't be available for the after picture. Well, I've seen it happen. I've seen them take someone outside do the picture. Oh, you think I'm wrong? Okay. That's okay. You could think that. That gives good reason for Debbie Dooley to call me a liar and a felon and all these nasty things she says. That gives you good reason. Now, so don't forget, and so I can close. Number 12, right? A rigged election. This is what Donald Trump said, 6/22/20. Millions of mail-in ballots, right? We know that. And then we also know, I know I have it here, where number 39, we also know Donald Trump right here in Georgia, right? We'll talk about it later. FBI asked spy agencies to destroy intel on alleged China plot to aid Joe Biden in 2020 election. And let's see. Right there. We know what happened in 2020. Georgia Republican Party, we're not closer to paper ballots. We don't have candidates out there campaigning for paper ballots. Let's see what else we have. Democrats have a plan. All right. Number 14, this will make you mad, but they do. They have a plan. They're working on trying to And I don't follow them. So it's not I don't bash a Democrat. Why'd you bash a Democrat? It's not. They have their level of corruption too. They have an enormous level of corruption. Stacey Abrams, why don't you just attack Stacey Abrams and Fonnie Willis? Why do you go after our people? I'm not going after a damn person. Corruption's corruption. I don't care left eye or right eye. I can see out of both of them. What the hell's wrong with you? I don't do this. That's how many of you do this. I only see out of my right eye. I only see out of my left eye. I see out of both of them, damn it, and both of them are corrupt. I don't know where that comes from. I'm like a NASCAR, a little loose in the corners. Here's the Democrat Party of Georgia is launching a sweeping effort, 700 local seats. They are working into going into rural areas right now, and trying to put candidates in place to scratch away let me see if I want this one, Diane. It's 11 o'clock. I might want to get out. I've had a very upsetting morning. Let me see if this is where it says it. All right, here is one, number 116. I just want to validate what I said because this is the conversation that's going on, all right? If you find conversations, send them to me, all right? Without disagreeing, this is Tyler Hawkins, without disagreeing with any of our well-judged remarks, Alex's and others' notions of declaring victory with those resolutions are poorly chosen at best, deceptive at worst. Interesting. So that's deceptive. This was not deceptive. That's deceptive. I can see it deceptive over there, but not over there. They jammed through a single vote on an omnibus of every resolution at once, which many people voted for just to get out of the room and avoid the crazy. There were exactly 0 minutes of discussion on the content of those resolutions, and very few people knew what they contained. Well, that's interesting. I have to agree with you. And I think you probably are equally as upset that there was 0 discussion on the rules. I think you're equally upset that there was 0 discussion, the microphones were turned off, and we were not able to make a motion on number 8 of the rules and see if the body wanted paper ballots. So I'll guarantee you Taylor is just as upset with me, along with me, as I am him. I bet we agree on this. And when the vote on the resolutions was taken, only 750 of the original voting strength of 1713 was still present. Most of the sensible people started leaving after the officers' election. Are you telling me that you may be writing, unbeknownst to what you're doing, the strategy? Are you saying that this could have been part of the strategy? I don't think you realize that, and no disrespect to what you're writing and your intent, this may be a very nice guy. I have nothing against this guy. I know him. He doesn't speak to me, and I understand why. He can't be seen speaking to me, right? I don't meet the level that these people do. They have levels. If you don't come up to that level, I'm just saying, okay? Now, that being said, are you putting out the plan unbeknownst, right? I don't think it's your intention. Most of the sensible people started leaving after the officers' election, realizing the utter frivolity of the resolutions and unwilling to suffer fools any longer. Fools, I say, any longer. That makes me feel at least a little better. Well, anything like voting strength is multiple thousands. I have seen the past convention The disintent device troublemakers would have been regulated to small and noisy minority. Hopefully, well, I can't read that because there's too many things covering it on the screen that I can't see it. So, oh, by the way, we have primaries coming up. If you would like to help me with the Georgia Hour on research on candidates, research on different races, please contact me. Put our information up, okay? Because we're going to take this right into, we're looking in July, Burt Jones to make the official announcement for governor. We're looking for different people because let me show you this. I want to start right here. Sorry, Diane, I know it's 10:05, but don't go anywhere yet. New leadership, number 57. All right. Jason Anavataria. Is that his name? Anavataria, District 31. In the Senate, he's taking Steve Gooch's place. This guy is now the majority leader of the Georgia State Senate. You do not resign from office. So Steve Gooch is still your state senator. Don't let people confuse you. If Steve Gooch was your Republican state senator yesterday, he's your Republican state senator today. But the only thing they have to resign is the leadership position. So he has resigned. He's no longer the leader in the Senate, majority leader. So you want to do research on this guy. Tell me what you think with real research, okay? This is going to lay out what hands you think the Senate is in for next year as we go forward. Now, taking John F. Kennedy out of Macon, Georgia, the senator there that is running for lieutenant governor, number 58, you have Larry Walker from District 20, all right? So the president pro tempore is Larry Walker. Now, he's the nominee. They call him the nominee. I don't think they voted on him, all right? But he is the guy they're basically giving it to. Let's start doing some research. He will be the next, right behind the lieutenant governor. The next lieutenant governor will be working with Larry Walker. So I'm your host, BKP. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Like I said, I'm like NASCAR. I get a little loose in the turns sometimes. So my sincere apology if you were offended in any way about, communication on prayer and bad words. I really do. I want to say I'm sorry for that. The rest of it, well, hell, it is what it is. Mañana, tomorrow, 8 a.m.